Hi. When I started Look Fabulous Forever, because of budget restraints, I started with what I knew, which was makeup that worked well on white faces. My name is Tricia and I'm founder of Look Fabulous Forever, and we have a range of makeup specifically formulated for older faces, eyes and lips. What we're going to do in this video is show you those products which actually work equally well on a woman of colour. So I hope you really enjoy it. So for this video, our model is Valerie. She's in her mid-50s, and Linda is going to be our makeup artist. So first of all, Linda is going to apply the Fabulous Prime, and you can see that she's doing this with our brush 3, and with that brush she's also going to apply the base in a minute or two. So the primer is a preparation for the foundation. It seals any open pores that you might have and any fine lines. It adds a kind of mattifying effect which is really flattering, and it really helps to keep your base in place for longer. So that just gets smoothed over the skin, as you can see, and now Linda is going to apply the base. Now the base that she's using is not an LFF product. It's actually from Superdrug. It's Valerie's own. It's made by Be Even. It's called an oil control foundation and the colour is chocolate. So you can see that using the number 3 brush, Linda is just applying that evenly to Valerie's face. What she's doing with this is to even out the skin tone, make sure that the skin looks unified at the end of it. One of the aspects of aging is that skin tone becomes patchy and it just becomes uneven. So the effect of base is to stop that happening. And you can see the effect of the foundation on Valerie now. It's made her a beautiful even colour all over. So apply with the brush and then make sure that the product is really well absorbed into the skin using your fingers. So another product from Look Fabulous Forever range that works on Valerie, and that is the eye primer. And what this is going to do, it's going to form a lovely base for the eye makeup that we're going to put on top. Now you can see the effect of that onto Valerie's eyelids. It looks quite pale, but when we've added the shadows and the colours that we're going to add to Valerie's eyes, you'll see that it actually works brilliantly. So applying with the integrated applicator and then just making sure that it's well absorbed into the skin. So next is a concealer. So again, this is a product that Valerie has brought with her, and it's made by MAC. It's number NW50. And Linda's applying it with our concealer brush number 4. So concealer underneath the eyes. What concealer does, different from base, it just adds a more heavily pigmented cream to the skin. But it's carrying on that whole process of evening the skin tone, making sure that there's a nice finished effect. You may or may not need this product, but it can be useful to put where you can see Linda putting it underneath the eyes, if that area is quite dark and purpley in colour, and also around the base of the nose. So it's easily applied, stippled onto the skin and then patted in with the finger. Linda is now going to apply something called Luminaire. It's made by Sleek. Its colour is 05, and again Valerie bought this in Superdrug. So this is to go on top of the cheekbones, and it's to add luminosity in a really pretty way. It's a form of contouring for the face, really, when you add a product like this. So it can be used underneath the eyes as a kind of very lightweight concealer. but the purpose of it really is to reflect light and to make the skin look kind of dewy and fresh. So it's a very pretty thing to add. You can see where Linda's putting it on the upper edges of the cheekbones, and she's applying it directly from the with the integrated brush, and then she's using her fingers to just pat it into the skin. Putting it there around the top of the cheekbones obviously makes the face, in terms of the shape of the face, improves that. But it also means that when you come to put eye makeup on, the eye makeup really stands out and looks better. And can you see how she's also put a V in between Valerie's eyebrows? And again, it's going to make her eyebrows look better. And it's, as I said, just bringing that touch of luminosity to that area in the best possible way. So having applied those products to Valerie's face, we're now going to come on and start doing her eye makeup. Remember, we've already added the lid prime, the eye prime, to Valerie's lids. Now this product is the Silver Mist lid colour, and we've experimented with this and decided that it looks very, very pretty on Valerie's eyelids. Now, if you can see where Linda's putting it, it's basically on the inner corners of her eyes. You can see it quite clearly in that shot. So, stroke it on the skin with a sponge applicator, not the whole eyelid, just that inner corner. What we're going to do with the eye makeup is make Valerie's eyes, yes, look prettier, but they're also going to look bigger. And a small amount underneath, just as Linda's doing there, not too much. And you can see that the immediate effect of that is really quite, it's lovely. It's also quite dramatic. It's very pretty. If you put these lovely soft lilac-y heathery shades with brown eyes, it brings out the eye colour. Next, we're going to use another Look Fabulous Forever product, which is the brow shape. And because this is a very dark brown and can be used either lightly or more heavily depending on the colour of your eyebrows, it actually works perfectly on Valerie's eyebrows. What Linda's doing with the brow shape, as you can see, is she's using light feathery strokes, following the natural line of Valerie's eyebrows and stroking that very dark brown, almost liquid paint onto her eyebrows in order to give them greater definition. Our eyebrows are incredibly important. They frame our eyes, but also our entire face, and they just make sure that there's proportion and symmetry in the way that we look. The brow shape is actually better than using a pencil or something smudgy like a shadow. It gives a much more realistic effect, and as you can see, has brought a better, just generally a better, more groomed effect really to Valerie's brows. Now we come to some eyeshadow, and this is the Aubergine, which is a lovely dark purpley colour. So we've put the Silver Mist lid colour on the inner corner of the eye, and with the Aubergine we're going to take that to the outer corner of the eye. So using brush 7, can you see what Linda's doing there? She's just building up that colour, and it's working beautifully with the lid colour. Looks very, very pretty. She's using that brush 7 with the Aubergine, and just protecting the top of the cheeks from any little bits that might fall down onto the cheeks with a pad. So that's a really lovely effect with that quite light, pretty lilac-y coloured Silver Mist the inner corners, and then the aubergine much darker on the outer edges of the eyelids. And also going well above the socket line. Just blending that with a clean brush, making sure there are no hard edges. So Linda's carrying on using the aubergine, but this time with a different brush. And with a smaller brush, this would be our brush 5, she's now putting some of that aubergine shadow underneath the eye. So I think you can see the effect of that. Looks lovely. So next, using our charcoal shadow and a wedge brush, which is our brush number 8, Linda is going to make Valerie's eyelashes look thicker by just pushing that shadow down into the base of the eyelashes. This is a much softer and prettier look on an older eye. If you use a dark kohl pencil or a waxy hard pencil, it can end up looking quite hard and not so attractive. I absolutely love using shadows, especially with this wedge brush, which works brilliantly. It looks a bit smoky, which is soft, and I think far preferable to some kind of hard, sharp line. So you can see there the shape that Linda has created using the charcoal shadow. And now in the under eye area. So can you see now that Linda has extended the charcoal beyond the edge of Valerie's eye? And the reason for doing that is so that, as I said, it creates the illusion of bigger eyes. It looks really pretty as well. So last but not least, Valerie's eyelashes, and we're going to add some mascara. Valerie's eyelashes are quite sparse, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying that, but that doesn't matter. You can still add mascara. In fact, mascara is really important if your eyelashes are a bit sparse, because it just makes them look thicker and better. So don't think to yourself, oh, I haven't got very much in the way of eyelashes, I won't bother, because actually if you do put a little bit on, it will look lovely. So starting with the lower lashes first. Using the end of the mascara wand, you can see what Linda's doing there. You can almost coat the individual lashes if you want to. There's no reason why not. So now the upper lashes. Always remember with mascara that you're pushing as much as you possibly can into the base of the lashes and then lifting and separating. So the last thing that Linda's going to do to Valerie's eyes is to add a bit more of the Luminaire pen. Remember, that was by Sleek, 05 is the number, onto the top of her brow bones. So she's put it on the top of the cheekbones, and now she's adding it to the brow bone, and the effect of that is to just add a nice bit of colour and luminosity to that area. So this will make her brow bones look better. Now what we're going to do, we were really looking to see what would suit Valerie from the range, and we certainly didn't have a blush that would work with her skin. So we tried a lipstick, and lo and behold, our cherry red lipstick, as you can see, actually looked very pretty on her. Now obviously this would work as a lipstick as well, but just adding that lovely pink to her cheeks, well, I think you'll see in a moment, just looks spectacular. So lovely. I love adding blush to a face because I think that it's the moment the face comes to life in lots of ways. And I think you can see there quite clearly that that is just perfect. So cherry red is really a kind of a dark, pinky, sort of bluey red, but it works perfectly. So final primer, we've used a face prime, we've used an eye prime, and now we're going to use a lip prime. And the lip primer is a preparation for the lip colour really, and what it will do if you have a problem with feathering or bleeding of your lipstick beyond the outer edges, it will stop that, but it forms a lovely base for the colour that you're going to put on top. Now the colour that we've chosen for Valerie from the range is fuchsia. Fuchsia is a very bright, vibrant pink, and we did some experimenting with this and discovered that it worked beautifully on Valerie's mouth. Because it's the same tone of pink as the cherry red that we've put on her cheeks, it's going to complement that colour perfectly. The other thing is that we've used these cool colours on Valerie's eyelids. So we've used the sort of lilac-y silver mist and the aubergine. So by putting a cool toned pink onto her lips, we're completing the effect of those cool toned colours working really brilliantly together. When I first met Valerie, she was wearing, and will be wearing in her final shot, a lovely kind of lilac-y scarf, and she was also wearing a very blue toned lipstick, and I suspected that these colours would work very well on her, and so it proved to be true. So obviously using a lip brush to get a really professional finish, and just building up the colour by sweeping the lipstick onto the lips until you're happy that you've achieved the right density that you want. And there you have it, and I think that looks absolutely gorgeous. Really, really lovely.